Bella notte. This is the night, such a beautiful night, and they call it Bella notte. Well, it's not actually nighttime yet, but it is September 7th, 2018, with Elaine, Marolakos, Edelson, and astrologymojo.com. So, the end of the week, here we are, first week of September. I hope you're doing great. And today we're talking about Astrology 101, Part 2, Numero Dos. And I've got some cool pictures to show you. And you can bring your questions about astrology. Okay, so a couple of housekeeping things. If you need to hear me and you can't, you need to raise the volume. And let's see what else. Oh, I will be here in Sedona on September 9th, this Sunday, giving a salon, also known as a workshop, how to move from fear to love with personal channeled readings and EFT tapping. So if you are going to be in the area in Sedona, in the village of Oak Creek, in Flagstaff, in Phoenix, Camp Verde, Cottonwood, any of the surrounding areas, please call my office. Let me give you that number. And Dean will also post a link in the comments below on how you can connect and join us for the salon. Let me find the number. Here it is, the salon. From Fear to Love, live channeled readings, EFT tapping, Sunday, September 9th, 2 to 4 p.m., 928-284-3716. Call to register. Operators are standing by. Well, not really. Okay, so we're going to be talking about the houses today in astrology. And hi, Becca. Nice to see you today. And so I want to show you this really cool thing. In astrology is quite an old system. It's a human science, and it's not like astronomy. Very different. So there are descriptions that are given to each of the houses in astrology and to each of the signs in astrology. And these things helped you to define your life better so that you can overcome your challenges and you can work things out and you can, do what you came here to do and live that happy life and ignite your karma. So we're going to talk about the sun, rising, and moon today, as well as the 12 houses in astrology. And then I want to show you about this grand trine that we're having today. And it's very auspicious, really cool event. So basically, look at this. The cuneiform tablet. Here I am. I'm over here. This tablet is one of the earliest documents, we can call it that. It's a clay tablet, and it's at the Museum of Art in New York, Metropolitan Museum of Art. And it dates back to about 15 to 1600 before Common Era. And it's translated when the gods Anu and Enlil. And basically, some of the quotes from it you can see up on this image. If the moon becomes visible on the first day, reliable speech, the land will be happy. Not exactly a modern day forecast, but you get the drift. And if the bull of heaven's stars are very bright, the offspring of cattle will thrive. And that relates to the constellation of Taurus. So this is one of the earlier look-sees at what a chart might be. And a blank chart in astrology is the clock or the timing, the things that I talked about the other day. And oh, my husband said I have to move the mic. Okay. Is that better? Now you can hear me? Okay. So a blank chart, basically, and let me get that image up here for you. A blank chart shows you that each of the houses in astrology relate to different topics. And essentially, there are 12 houses, and they all have different definitions, and I'm going to show those to you as this talk continues. But basically, I use equal house in astrology. Now, there are different systems in astrology. And there are many different systems. There's Regiomontanus, there's Porphyry, there's Koch, there's Placidus, there's Vedic, there's equal house. I use equal house. I feel it's one of the more accurate systems in astrology to calculate charts and then to define what's going on for people. And Vedic is also very accurate in a lot of ways, and it brings in a lot of past life stuff. So in each of the houses, 1 through 12, and they rotate counterclockwise, just like as if you were looking at a calendar but upside down, or a clock but going backwards. And the bottom half of the chart deals with your inner self and more of your personality and your health and your well-being and your creative urges. The top part of the chart deals more with the outer world and how you want to present yourself in the world. And what's fascinating about astrology is that as the definitions change, so do ours. As we grow and learn, so do the definitions of astrology grow, so that we can learn different things. I think it's kind of fascinating because if I were to say to you, oh, you're a Taurus, wow, that's cool, then you might be stubborn, you like food, go a little bit slower, you need to process more. But not every Taurus is the same. I know many Tauruses that have a different amount of energy, a different focus. So that comes down to when you are born, there's a snapshot taken of your life called a natal chart. And the natal chart will show me or any astrologer, or you if you're learning astrology, your sun sign, number 1, your rising sign, which is gotten by the exact time of birth, and it's who you project to the world. The sun sign is the basic theme of your life, and the rising sign is literally your wealth, health, passion, and purpose. And the moon sign then comes into play, and the moon sign is more about your emotional well-being, your flow, how you allow, abundance and prosperity to come into your life, how you allow the relationships to women to occur and what happens with the relationships to women. And also the moon sign has a lot to do with finances. So the sun, rising, and moon are basically the holy trinity of astrology. And what you can get from that is enormous amounts of information. That's why I ask people if I'm doing work with them or I'm doing their chart, I'd like to know their birth time. Now, one of the gals who's coming to join us, hi Lorraine, one of the gals who's coming to join us here in Sedona on Sunday at my salon, How to Move from Fear to Love, doesn't know her exact birth time. And she said, people in her family have passed on and she's never really gotten that information. So I said, well, can you narrow it down to any stories that you might have heard in your family? Morning, dawn, later in the afternoon. And she said, yeah, somewhere early in the morning after the sun rose. So I'm going to be looking at her chart as well this weekend. And once I get to know her personality better as I start to work with her, I'm also going to be able to intuit more information. So even if I don't have the exact birth time, which I love to have because I also practice numerology, and that shows me the key to your entire life. Your birth time is the key to your entire life. So whenever you get stuck, I like to look at what that information is. Okay, so we're looking at the sun, the rising, and the moon. And depending on where your sun sign is, it could be anywhere in one of the 12 houses. And let me just show you that again. This is a blank chart, and it's got 12 houses in astrology, and your sun could be in any one of the houses from 1 through 12, and that would be your main focus in life. Okay? So the main focus for the sun is just where you put your attention. Horoscope is Greek, and it means the time of consideration. That's all it means. The horoscope is looking at that time that might give you or information or help you to glean information about what the focus is. That's a horoscope. So the dates are important in a horoscope as well. Okay, so hang on. I'm just going to take a little sip. And go ahead if you're here. Well, I see Becca is July 30th, so that makes her a Leo. And Lorraine, when was your birthday? Hey, Casey's here. She's in Aries. And so wherever the sign is in any of the houses, I'm going to show you that right now. It shows you what your main focus is in life. So let me find that chart for you. House description. There it is. Now I'm going to zoom it in a little bit so we can focus a little at a time. And this is part of my astrology masterclass that I am creating for each of the signs. And okay, so if we're looking at the first house, basically, if your sun is in the first house, it has more to do with the personality traits, your body parts, your individual expression. It is your outer identity. It's who you want people to see. I'm going to actually move this so. Okay, let me do it this way. Now I'll move over here. Okay, so the second house, got to bring my mic with me. The second house, which in basic general astrology is guided by Taurus, the first house by Aries, which is the child of the zodiac. It is the beginning of spring. It is the onset of the astrological chart. And the second house deals with finances and self-worth. So that's your value system, what you really value, and the income that you would earn as well. So I'm going to find a different position for my chair so that I can move this around. And okay, so now the third house is guided by Gemini, but in your personal chart, it's not Gemini. It's going to be whatever based on your rising sign. But basically, the definition for the third house is siblings and short journeys. It's how you communicate. It's your inner communication, your perceptions, what you think. And also, it's how you like to learn, or the easiest way for you to learn. All right. Now, I feel like I'm juggling because I have to move this over. All right. The fourth house, guided by Cancer. And it's more about your home life. And if your sun has a focus in the fourth house, I have a sun fourth house focus. I love being at home. I will go away, but come day 5 or 6, I'm looking at my watch and going, hey, I'm ready to go home now. It doesn't matter where I am or how much fun I'm having. I always want to be home. And it has more to do with the feminine parent. It could be your dad, but it is the feminine parent. For most cases, that's the mom. And it's more of your inner identity and your early years, your childhood years, and your home and family. Also deals with real estate. So my husband and I are also real estate investors. So if your sun sign is in the third house, you might be someone who really wants to communicate with the world, or you could be a teacher. Sun in the fifth house of romance, creativity, children, and games and risk-taking, speculation. You're a problem solver. You really you need creativity to motivate you if your sun is there. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to be an accomplished musician. I know people who have sun in the fifth house and they don't ever attain that creative freedom because they always feel burdened. So it depends on the aspects to different houses and different signs as well. But basically, we are looking at the sun focus in a house. In the sixth house, it deals more with the health of your entire body, also being a health practitioner, and the community and civil service and community, volunteering, as well as small animals. I know people who have a sun or prominent planets in the sixth house, and they are chiropractors, they're vets, they're doctors, they're avid athletes. It's really focusing on the body. And it's a lot about work productivity too. So the seventh house deals with marriage and partnerships, also business partnerships and the public. You might have major clients. So if your sun is in the seventh house, your main focus is wanting and needing to have a relationship. In the eighth house, it is more about, now that's when we come out into the world more, it's about finances, sex, death, taxes, finances. And the ancients put this together because those are the topics that get the most attention, right? Your money, how you feel, sensuality. And it's also the open door to spirituality. So you might have amazing dreams. And I don't mean thought dreams. I mean sleeping dreams where you have experiences at night. And it deals a lot with joint resources. So it can be insurance matters or estate planning. And the eighth house can also relate to if you have a spouse or a significant other, it relates to their income and how they make their money in order to turn around and give it to the family and support the family. So it's a spiritual, emotional support system is in the eighth house. It's also when, if the sun is there at birth and your focus is about research regarding psychology, health, wealth, being, finances. You might be a great accountant. You might be someone who loves to research for the benefit of others, psychological health and well-being. You could be a tax attorney. You might be someone who's focused on spirituality and wanting to delve into those topics. The ninth house now, when we come more to the top of the chart, the ninth house deals with philosophy, religion. It is higher consciousness, education, and the law as well. So if your sun is in this house, you might be going to college forever. Or you might want someone to publish your work, and you might be a writer. So there's a lot of combinations of things that can happen in a chart, but these are the basic definitions of each of the charts, of each of the houses in the chart. And then when it comes down to a personal chart, then it takes on a whole deeper meaning, and it becomes richer in definition because then it has to do with your karma, your reason for being on this earth. And so then the 10th house deals with the masculine parent. That's way at the top of the chart, guided by Capricorn. Oops, backwards. And that's about career and your life direction. Even if you don't have a paying job, it can be, if you're a stay-at-home mom, that is a career. And that's a very important one. And it also is your outer identity, the masculine parent, or it's your sense of higher purpose. And a lot of planets placed here also, not just the sun, but other prominent planets usually denote someone who is seeking fame or is due to receive some type of fame or notoriety in this lifetime. And I have actually a couple of clients with the sun in the 10th house, and one of them is right here on this call. And she works at home, but she's been out there in the world in a big way, with notable people and famous celebrities, and she works behind the scenes. I have another client who also has a sun in the 10th house, and she was on the cover of magazines because of what contribution she made in her industry. So there is fame or notoriety associated with the 10th house, but not always. That may not be your objective. It could be, you could be the person behind the scenes who is helping someone who is standing out on stage. Now, the 11th house deals more with, I'm getting pushed off my own screen. Okay, the 11th house, hey, welcome to the Fireside Chat. We're just going to move around. The 11th house has to deal with groups and your dreams coming true, your friends, and sometimes to an extended degree, your family members. But it is about the people that you associate with and the groups or the memberships that you belong to. And the 12th house now is a big one. So if you have a sun in the 11th house, you're like the party person, you're the camp director, you're always surrounded by a school of fish, in the ocean of life. In the 12th house, the focus is, it's a very private energy. You might be a psychologist, or you might have a lot of emotional or mental issues to work out in life, a lot of fears, or you could be someone who is very religious or very spiritual, and you just need that sanctuary. You need a lot of alone time. It is the house of prisons and hospitals, but also it's the mental state, the thoughts that put you in a mental prison or an emotional prison. So these are the 12 definitions of each of the houses. And, the 12th house also relates to your divination and your ability to to keep a connection to the something that is greater than yourself. And that's always a cool thing. So people, let me know, what sign are you in the comment section while I take a sip of my vitamin water. What sign are you? I'm a Taurus, by the way. I know Casey is an Aries, and she says it's the best sign. Of course it is. Who would argue with an Aries? Okay. So for those who joined late, I just want, Kathy is a Pisces. Excellent. And let's see, I know Dean is a Cancer. And Kimberly is 121, so she's an Aquarian. Capricorn cusp, baby. Okay. And so there's a nice mix of signs here today, which is pretty cool. I want to show you something that's really fascinating. I talked about the sun, rising, and moon. And if you joined us late, I want to go back and show you this cuneiform tablet that is displayed at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And it was dated back to 15 or 1600 years BCE, before Common Era. And it literally is one of the first finds regarding astrology. It's not an actual wheel chart, but there are descriptions of planets. Look at this. Is this not amazing? That the literal translation at the top has to do with when the gods, Anu and Enlil. Pretty cool, huh? Gods, plural. What does that tell us? If the moon, some of the descriptions and definitions have been translated to, if the moon becomes visible on the first day, reliable speech, the land will be happy and locusts will go away. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but these are, if we update these particular translations, we might find the political arena, the global arena dealing with pollution and water conservation. And so it's kind of the same thing. Long ago, tribes would look at the stars and make their calculations based on what the kingdom needed, especially what the king or the lord of the area needed, and when the disaster was going to strike. So if they saw Mars very visible in the sky, which it is right now, for the next 60,000 years, you won't see Mars this close. It's 35 million miles away from the Earth. So get out there at night this month and look up. You'll see the big red planet is there. But a long time ago, when folks in early civilizations saw Mars, they would look at what happened around them. This is when there were more warring tribes. This is when there was more fires and inflammations. This is when more people had fevers. So they would start to attribute and to assign definitions to each of the planets and make it be what it is today through the evolution. That references the Anuakai. Okay, so there you go. Becca knows what this is, and that's pretty fascinating. And when I have other images that I've gotten for my astrology masterclass, and there was one Greek translation of a chart, and it almost looks like a chart. It's not an actual wheel, but it's divided into stripes that if you put a circle around it, it would make a chart with houses. And so the development over time of astrology has given us a lot of definitions to work with, because, as I said earlier, when people discover things, then the earth comes into a new being of consciousness. Just like I was saying the other day about Uranus, it was discovered in March of 1781. Before that, the planet, the sign Aquarius, was guided by Saturn, until Uranus came into play and industry popped up and more amazing discoveries were made about the world and medicine and technology and space and telescopes and how they ground glass to make the actual telescope, all this cool stuff that happened. So when planets are discovered, then the definitions expand. Now, people have asked me about that 13th sign, and originally, that has to do with the serpent. And originally, the astrologers of olden, the old people, those old wise people, they would look at what rotated around them throughout the seasons. And, oh my gosh, I had it written down. I was going to put the dates of, anyway, I'll have to do it on the next one. But the constellations that were visible every single night all year long were the 12 that we are looking at today. They are not in the same position that they were originally, but there is no 13th sign. There are 12 signs, but eventually, over time, as the moon pulls away from the earth, which it's doing a little bit every day, every year, further and further, so in a couple of million years, there will no longer be eclipses, which is a pretty cool thing, right? But we won't be here. Well, not in this form anyway, but I don't know what will be, or where we'll be, or how, but that'll be fascinating. So when the constellations were first discovered, people ascribed definitions to them. And then eventually, as the Greeks took over, the Babylonians, the Mesopotamians, they all devised and then the Syrians came in, and the Arabs, and everybody had a version of something. The Hindus, the Indian, Eastern Indian, and then the Native Americans also have different versions. So that when we look at this conglomeration of definitions in astrology, you will find so many versions out there. People will talk about the nodes, the north nodes and the south nodes, and they are adjuncts to the moon, and how they help you to, if you understand what a node is, the north node, if you don't, here's the definition. The north node, and they look like headphones. They're like a little circle with a headphone. So it looks like a little headphone. And the north node is what you're moving toward in this lifetime. And it's going to give you a lot of joy to do that. The south node is what you're moving away from. They're always opposite each other in a chart. And so I visit different astrological groups on Facebook and other places, and sometimes people talk about things that I have never heard of. And so I listen, I keep an open ear and say, oh, wow, that's fascinating. And then other times people have very unusual definitions where they'll say things like devilry or evil. And, I shy from things like that because astrology is not meant to produce fear. And if it does, and if you ever read a column or you go to an astrologer and you're given definitions that sound like this is it, this is who you are and you can't change, I would smile politely, get your money back if you can, and walk away. Because that's not going to help you. I like to look at transformative definitions like this one that's happening today. I want you to take notes. Let me grab that one. The transits. Not that one. That's not the one. That's not the one. Okay, hang on. There's the blank chart. Grand Trine. That's the one. That's the one we want. As I learn how to use this program. There it is. Ooh, this is so exciting. This kind of stuff turns me on, right? Isn't that funny? That one we got to get rid of. Okay, so this is what's called a grand trine in astrology. And a grand trine is when three planets, or the sun and the moon, that's part of the celestial team, when they are in a triangle formation of 120 degrees, it creates what's called a grand trine. And a grand trine is part of the ease with which you can accomplish something. Right now, today, we have an exact grand trine. I want you to write this down, and these are the definitions. It is between Mercury, Saturn, and Uranus. All of them are in earth signs. Mercury in Virgo, Saturn in Capricorn, and Uranus in Taurus. And they are all here together, holding hands, playing nice, helping you to open a door. What's the door? Where's the door? Well, the door would rely on your basic definitions in your chart and, your whole thing. But in essence, it deals with designing something, creating the data, assembling the information, and then using your authority or to accept your wisdom and authority, and then to have that be more part of your value system and to be validated or to validate others. So this whole grand trine comes in between Mercury, which represents communication, Saturn, which represents ambition. Let me find my hands over here. Ambition, wisdom, maturity. You have something that you are masterful at, or mistressful at. So you need to honor that and own it, and then start designing data around it. Maybe you're ready to start a class, write a book, get a new job, start a health program. Uranus and Taurus. Uranus represents freedom and rebellion, eccentric, unusual behavior. It's also dealing with astrology. Uranus guides astrology. And Uranus and Taurus creates values and versatility in how you can present your expertise to the world. Now, the whole while this grand trine is going on, Pluto is also in a trine to the sun, which adds to the open door. It's like that now that there's a spotlight over the open doors that say, we're here. You can go to core right now. You can go do that thing you've been wanting to do and stop procrastinating and go get it done. So what is the thing that you want to get done? You have a grand trine, Casey, right now. Go use it. The grand trine is opening up doors for everyone right now, all the way through September 19th. Now, remember, the sun represents the masculine energy focus. It's your focus, whether you're masculine or not, but it's about action, taking action. Sometimes the moon is in play, and it's more about feeling things through, dreaming. I mean, when you have moon transiting certain aspects in your chart, you might have the most amazing dreams. Or if you have Neptune transiting your 8th house of the subconscious or the 12th house of the subconscious and psyche, you could really heal through dreams. Right now, Pluto, which represents core transformation and also overcoming fear, it is breaking the bonds to an old pattern, and it's trining the sun, which means that auspicious energy of the focus can be, because the sun is in Virgo now, can be the details. What are the details that can help you create a design that you would really value, that would put you in a different, put you in a different status, a different level of your being. And sometimes that, I'm just going to reduce this a little bit because I'm sitting sideways in my chair and my back's starting to hurt. So I'm going to go here. So what does that mean really for people who don't have a specific career? Maybe they just have a job. Well, maybe it has to do with you owning your own authority in what you know, and not to assume that, you're the dinosaur in the group, or not to assume that it's just more of the same old stuff, same old stuff, same old stuff. It just gets boring, right? So where would you like to move that energy? If you want to heal something in your body, if you want to heal a pattern in your mind, in your mind, I'm going to need to drink something soon. If you're ready to take action, that's what the sun is about, taking action, and Mars too. But right now we're looking at the sun. That's the major focus on how to get beyond a fear so that you can further this grand trine. We are at exact degree. When a trine is in an exact degree, it means that if you meditate today on the one thing that you would like to be known as the authority for, you would like to design something different and strategize something different about your life so that you become more versatile, more open, more attuned to your own frequencies of what you can create. This is the time to do it. The door is open. It's like the Stargate is open right now. And today is like the biggest. The door is really open. You remember when you were little and somebody in your family would go, "How much do you love me?" "I love you this much." Well, the stars are wide open. So do something. Do something that you love. Do something that feels right, because now you're gonna see results. Now this energy is there What does Casey say? I was looking for the shopping button to buy one. I don't know. That was 10 seconds ago delay. I don't know what that means, but okay. To buy one. Whatever it is I said something spoke to you. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy about that. I'm going to take a sip of my Ultimo water. Okay, so wherever you want to progress in life, today is a wonderful day to put it into motion. What is it? What do you want to do? And if you would like to be more grounded, this is an earth sign trine. So these are all earth signs. Virgo likes to focus on the details. And Capricorn likes to build from an ambitious place and will take on big projects. Or because it's a grand trine and it's a positive thing, sometimes Capricorn will take on too much, but right now, though, this is perfect. You're going to take on just the amount that you need. And then Uranus is explosive. It wants to do what it wants to do. It can be frenetic. It can be energetic. It can be contagious. It could be something fun and wonderful. And it won't go too much to an extreme because it's in the sign of Taurus. And then Taurus reins it in, says, okay, not too much weirdness or out there-ness. We want to calm it down, make it digestible. Now, of course, I am a Taurus. And to have Uranus in Taurus means I'm going forward with more astrology. And I'm writing a masterclass. And I'm also doing these Facebook Lives. So this is one of the ways that I am setting a structure to put my expertise into the world and to do it in a very detailed way. So I've got photos ready for you. I've got information for you. Sometimes I give free readings. So this is what I'm doing and how I'm putting it out into the world. And I have other friends and clients who are organizing this structure now in a way that works for them because of who they are working with. I have another client who has pretty high-end people come in, but some of them have been very needy for her and she's exhausted. So she set a boundary by raising her rates. And when she did that, a lot of the very, sometimes people can't afford it, but they're very nice people. But the ones that she works with privately, and she'll make room for the people who can't afford her, but who are kind and thoughtful and generous, and she makes room for those people. But the other ones who she called monsters, Mimi monsters, she raised her rates and they complained, and so they went away. And so that was how she articulated her boundary. And so I want you to think about what you could be doing now to really putting your energy into the world in a way that's more organized, structured, is valuable to you, and then it creates value for others. I have a friend who's an artist, and the design now, the idea of design is nothing new to this person. She's actually a Virgo, but now she's contacting museums and art galleries to actually put her work out there. So that's how she's doing it. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Casey wants to know if I'm writing a book. I am, but first I'm finishing my masterclass and I get really good ideas. I'm writing down all my ideas for my third book in my astrological historical fiction series, adventure series called Sign of the Times. And I'm working on Gemini right now. I'm just gathering facts, just the facts, ma'am, especially with the Sun and Mercury in Virgo, just the facts. So that's what I'm doing. Are there any questions that you might have about astrology or how to better focus or anything that might help you regarding planets? Just let me know. Next week, my husband and I are going away. We're going to, can you guess? Here's my prop, and I'm bringing it with me. Da, 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 da. I'm going to move this so you can see. That is my wand, and I'm going to use it. Slightly pliable, malleable, wands at the ready. We're going to Harry Potter world. I'm so excited. This is how I fulfill my sense of magic and I get ideas for stories. But I'm bringing this one. If you've never been to Harry Potter World in California, what it does is Wingardium Leviosa, there's different things you can do with the wand in front of certain stores, and it actually creates magic. Things happen because it's tuned in. I'm so excited. I can't wait to go. So I won't be here during the week next week, except for Friday. I will be back on Friday at 10 a.m., Friday at 10, and that is, I have to look, that is the 14th. That is the 14th of September, and I'll be back at 10 a.m., and I'll be talking about more astrology. And I'm going to show you some cool things that you can look at in your chart so that you can define for yourself, well, now you've seen the houses, I'll bring up the houses again, and I'll show you what it's like to have Mars in different houses, or what it's like to have Saturn in different houses. And that'll be part 3, Astrology 101. I'm just making notes so I remember to actually do that. Okay, so I am going to use this wand on Dean. I forgot the exact phrasing, but it's alkabishus, alakazeb, something up the wazoo. That's my chant for Dean, my husband. So in the meantime, just to let you know, I will be here in Sedona on Sunday from 2 to 4 p.m. How to move from fear to love if you're in the neighborhood, or pass it along to other people that you know who might be traveling through town. If you're in Flagstaff, Cottonwood, or Camp Verde, surrounding areas, come see me. Actually, let me just post this so you can see the phone number to call. Here's the salon link, and I've got to move that up. There it is, From Fear to Love, live channel readings and EFT tapping, Sunday, September 9th, 2 to 4 p.m., 928-284-3716. Pretty cool. Okay, so, here's something I wanted to show people too. You know, a lot of times we say, oh yeah, I'm going to work on that, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to get that done. I know, because I've been someone who used to do that all the time. Now I'm actually doing it. I scheduled things, like I said the other day, now that Saturn is now direct in motion, there is more of an urge to get something done and to not procrastinate. And so what I did was I scheduled it in 3 calendars that I was going to contact the insurance paper people, and I did. And I had to actually do some EFT tapping beforehand because I had an emotional anxiety around doing this paperwork and around doing, I was just unsure of the information. I don't know much about it, and it was taking its toll on me emotionally. And so I just decided to do some EFT tapping, like I showed you in a previous video. Go back and check it out. It works great. And I did my focus and my breathing and my meditation. And I realized that it wasn't about me doing something wrong or incorrect. And it wasn't about my mother passing away. It has to do with her doing paperwork for her estate. And it wasn't about her passing away. I'm not sad about it because I know she's in a great place and I've heard from her and she's flying around. She's having a great time. She's feeling whole and healthy and happy, and I'm so happy for her. And so I kept tapping, thinking, I had to use different words, thinking, oh, I'm insecure. Nah, I didn't feel insecure. I feel like I'm going to do something wrong. It's like, no, I don't feel like I'm going to do anything wrong. And then I tapped on, I just feel inexperienced. And I was like, bingo. I felt my heart go, yeah, I feel inexperienced. So the fear came up. So fear comes up with inexperience. And when it does, EFT tapping is a great technique to use to just minimize and mitigate those anxious feelings and just, bring it down to earth and say, okay, cool. And then what I put into my mind was that I will get the exact help that I need. And that was my mantra for 5-10 minutes. And then I made the phone call. And the guy transferred me, and I got the exact help that I needed, and I got all the information. Now I just have to go through the motions and fill out the paperwork and fax it in, and that's it. So if you've got something you want to get done, remember, we've got a grand trine in earth signs right now, exact degree today. It's exact only today, but it is still a grand trine through the 19th of September. So don't procrastinate. Put that thing that you really want to get done right in front of your face and just do it. Just get it done. You're going to feel so much better. So I will be back next Friday at 10 talking about Astrology 101 Part 3, Numero 3. And we're going to delve into more of the planets and the houses. So if you don't have your chart, actually, you can go to Dean with the handy links, my producer in the other room. He's about 30 feet away that way. So, Dean, if you've got a link to the homepage at our site where people can get their charts for free, if you could post that, that would be awesome. I want to take another sip. How's everybody doing? What's everybody going to do this weekend? What are you focused on? What do you want to get done? What's the thing you want to accomplish? Let me know in the comment section. I don't want to set the world on fire. There it is. No, is that it? Sedona Workshop. Okay. So Dean's going to get the link to my website so you can go there if you don't have your chart, and then I can show you the symbols again of, where are they? Signs and planets. I got to move that up. I'm learning how to use this program. Oh, there we go. So once you know where the planets are in the different houses, you can see better how to activate those energies in your life or how to work with them so that you understand what's happening, and then you don't feel like a victim, because we want to get rid of the victims, folks. And yes, now that Saturn is direct, Saturn also represents the structure in legal systems. That means judges, nominations, etc. What's going on in the political world and on the world stage and the platform of craziness and crazy making. The things that are happening now in the United States are more will be revealed now that more planets are going direct. And that's going to be very interesting after Venus goes into retrograde in October and then back direct in November. Even more information will be revealed about the behind the scenes and who's really pulling strings and who's really doing what and how to create justice from all of it. That's what we're looking at. So, Dean, do we have a link? Great. Get your free astrology birth chart here at astrologymojo.com because we want to help you get your mojo back. And, oh, okay, Talitha wants to write a paper for school. Great. We're in the sign of Virgo. Virgo loves to write the details. Just jot everything down. So as you focus on what you need, create a space, clear off the desk, make it something that you really want to be focused on. Don't force yourself, but the grand trine is here. So as you put on music or you need quiet or you light a candle or you have something great to eat, you sit down, you focus on the paper, you're going to channel this paper for school. It's just going to come right through you. Cool. Okay. All right, folks. Thank you for being here. As always, I wish you peace. Want to help you get your mojo back. Back on Friday, the 14th. Okay. Back on Friday the 14th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. I did that lightning fast. That's because I have a wand and I'm going to use it in Harry Potter World next week, and I will come back feeling quite magical. Not like Mrs. Trelawney. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how much I eat that I'm not supposed to eat. All right, folks. Be well. Be sparkly. Have a great weekend. See you next week.